Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody here that's volunteering to do this, because it's really important for the grassroots to get out the message. We don't have the Ari Fleischer's $15 million to do television campaigns. As the CEO of Grassroots America, the flyers, posters, this is how we inform the grassroots, people that aren't necessarily connected in through the internet. The media doesn't cover this, so the majority of the way that we communicate with the grassroots, with the people throughout, is through flyers and postering. And when the government imposed penalties and fines against AWNSER for the same thing that politicians do, that record companies do, that all over DC, and they never have any action against them, I felt compelled to help them put up flyers and posters, because this is how we mobilize people and let them know what's going on. Never in my wildest dreams would I expect that putting up a lawfully posted poster on public property in compliance with DC law would amount to having a SWAT team and mounted police to come after us. My daughter was there. She was terrorized. She was shoved around by SWAT police. She was screaming. I was locked up in a police car, and at which point I was trying to, yell at my daughter to make sure she's okay until the police to leave her alone, and they shut the window on my head, and just the brutality of the actions of the police that day to silence us just absolutely amazed me. I knew that things were bad, but I had no idea that we had gotten to this place in our country where even posting of a flyer would come down and be assaulted by police officers and thrown in jail, and then put in leg cuffs, like we're, the reminiscence of days gone by that we should not be revisiting. It's just absolutely criminal what they did and how they went about doing it. We're simply here for the First Amendment and free speech. And all the volunteers, thank you for helping us with the First Amendment and to help mobilize, to let the people know and what's happening on the 15th. And that the world, the majority of Americans, everybody's saying, end the war now. And we're here to support that. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say thanks for everybody being here, putting in the hard work, because unfortunately, in the way things are today, this is what it takes to make democracy happen. This is how it happens. And so thanks to everybody who's here who puts in that hard work, and everybody's here to show support. But also the people that are going to see this that aren't here, see the video, the NSA, the FBI, the MPD, everybody else who's watching us right now, CIA. Did I miss anybody? Is there anybody else I need to thank? There's so many people I want to thank, all the little people that work for the government. But this is how it starts. This is how democracy happens. And unfortunately, where we've come to right now in the United States, we don't really have a fully functional democracy, and we have to take it back. And for those that have taken it away from us, they're fucking scared. I think we've made that point, on Thursday, unequivocally. They're fucking scared, and they should be, because what's happening on the 15th is going to be a turning point for the entire movement, and possibly in the history of our democracy. I'm really hopeful that it can be that catalyst that the movement is ready for, to turn away from protesting and towards direct action, because it's clear that the protesting is not enough anymore. And as we've seen, even our right to protest is being infringed upon. But the Founding Fathers were pretty smart. They knew that if they ever took away the First Amendment, we'd have the Second to fall back on. So I hope it doesn't come to that. But what's going to be happening on the 15th, what we're going to see with the massive civil disobedience, what we're going to see with the massive outpouring of people in the streets, what we're going to see for that week of action with people putting their money where their mouth is and being ready to step up and take charge of their democracy and bring an end to the war. This is where it starts, And I mean, it's been building for a long time, but I think we're coming to an important turning point. I just hope we can turn the corner better than we have in Iraq.
I think Adam really got it right when he said that these people really are scared. And I think that it really shows, it speaks to the power of our message, not just the power of our message, but the power of our timing about when we're doing this demonstration and what it really means. And you know, September 15th, and in every media outlet, every newspaper, everywhere all over the country, September and this Petraeus report and the Crocker report and all the different things and the debate that will be raging is where the focus is. And we think it's important that when all these people are talking in Congress and the president and in the media and throwing all their various schemes out there, it's important that the people be able to deliver their verdict. And that's what we want to do on September 15th and that week after, is to allow people to come and factor as an element in the political process, because we know the political process isn't really just about politicians, especially in a time now where there's so much cynicism, to see that, to empower people, young people especially, to be able to come out and know that it's us, it's people, it's movements, it's organized groups of ordinary people that make these politics. And that's what we want to do on September 15th, to say end the war now. And just like the Washington Post this Sunday says about the majority of the people across this country who not only want the war to end, but they want the war to end as soon as possible, because as Iraq Veterans Against the War has made so clear in their campaigns, funding the war really is killing the troops. And every second that people stay in Iraq, in Afghanistan, all these different places, is just millions and billions of dollars that are wasted, and you know, even more importantly than that, thousands of lives that are being lost on both sides. And of course, we don't want that. We don't want any parents of anyone across the world to have to suffer from the things that unfortunately so many people have had to suffer from. So we know that there's a lot of momentum. We know of over 100 cities that are bringing buses. We know from many of those cities and many more, people will travel on their own and take planes and trains and do car caravans. And right here in this Washington, D.C. area, a lot of people are going to come out. I mean, we've been putting up posters and handing out flyers, and everywhere you go, people are talking about the September 15th demonstration. And that's how we know that we're on the right side of history here. And all these people, these naysayers, these people who are afraid, who break up our press conferences and say dirty things about us, they know we're on the right side of history, and that's why there's so much more vitriol coming from them, and the actions are becoming so much more brazen. And so on September 15th and that week after, because protesting is not enough, and we want this to inaugurate not just a week, but however long it takes, of resistance, where people aren't just standing up against the war, but they're getting in the way of the war machine and shutting down what has become such an immoral and violent and disgusting part of our country and part of our life and our political fabric. So to all the people who watch this video, I ask you, go to the website, www.sept15.org, and more importantly, come to the demonstration. And if you can, participate in the mass die-in civil disobedience that's being led by people like Kokesh and other Iraq Veterans Against the War and military families like Tina Richards. Join with them. They need our support as much as we need theirs, and we can join together. We can create a powerful movement, and we can end this war, and we really can. And it's about us, the ordinary people, doing something. Thank you.
Power to the people.
Yeah, definitely.